Today we're going to be talking about HTML and how to set up HTML and its environment using both Visual Studio and also Notepad++. So in today's class, we're going to be using Notepad++ to set up. First, install your Notepad or go over to your search icon and type Notepad. So when you click on this, it shows you this, right? So we have Untitled Notepad++. Now, in this case, now we probably have to save this file. Look for over to desktop, go to desktop, create a new file, a new folder. We're going to be calling this new folder web development or web application with HTML. Right, so we'll click on open folder, then we'll save this file as index.html. So when you click on this, now this folder is being saved in our system. Now let's move over to our desktop that will look for this folder. You can see we have a folder called web application, right? So when we click on this, we'll be seeing something here. I know some of you might not be getting this extension, so click on view. When you click on view, over to show all, when we go to show all, there's something called file name extensions. So when I say show name file extension, so click on this file name extension, automatically it shows you .index.html. Now how do we work on this now? Now whenever we want to work on this file, right, we can type whatever code we type here, like I want to say hi, how are you doing, right? Then I click on here, I just save here, Ctrl S, then click here and it pops out how are you doing in my browser. So literally HTML simply means hypertext markup language. Is a standard language for creating web pages on our website. We create a different pages, like a different content, displaying content on our web page for our user. Now HTML uses tags and elements. For an example, I can have a tag. I can wrap this text in a h1 tags, like let's have a greater than h1, then I close the tag, then I have this, right? So when I click on save here and I refresh, it becomes a tag. Nice. So we can see how we can use our notepad to design an item in our HTML. For example, let me just quickly style on this. I want to over this and say I want to add a style to this content. Let's say we had a style. This is equals to background. Let's see background. Then background should be red. Then I save on this. I refresh. I'm having a red. Nice. Now we have seen how we can style an HTML tag with our Notepad++. Now I'm going to repeat these steps. Let's say we go to our folder, we want to have another file. When we click on this, we'll go to new, right? So we'll go to text document, right? We want to create a new file. You can hover here to text document. So when we get text document, you can say, we want to have this file to be new file dot html, right? Then you can remove the text file, then hit on enter. Automatically it's going to ask you, do you want to save this file with an extension? It might become unusable. Are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, you can say click on yes. Now once you click on yes, this file that is here, you can drag it over to display to your Notepad++. Right? So when you drag it here, it opens a new tag that this person wants to write a new content on the web page. I can say, this page is I want to write welcome to my new file. right? New file page. Let's use new file page. Now I will click on save. Click on save. When I click on this, now I'm seeing welcome to my new file file. I believe you have seen how we can use Notepad++ to write a content on the web page. Now I'm going to go over to Visual Studio. Now for those that have used text editor such as code editor such as Visual Studio or Sublime Text. In today's class, I'm going to be using a code editor such as Visual Studio. When I click on my Visual Studio or go to your search bar, let's see those that I don't have, I can click on, I think I have an icon here. Okay, so when I click on my Visual Studio, it's loading. Yeah, so it's loading. So like I said, what we use HTML to do, we can create a responsive site. So HTML comprises of tags and elements, right? So we can make use of a lot of items, right? So I'm gonna be creating a new file. Let's say, oh, we have already have an existing file here. Now remember we created a folder in our desktop, right? So the folder we created in our desktop can simply be was web application, right? So I'm going to go to new file, go to open folder, right? When I'm in open folder, I'll click on open folder, then I'll over to my desktop towards here. The name of that file was web application with HTML. That's my workspace. I'm going to click on here. I'm selecting the folder. Now I'm going to ask you to trust that folder. Yeah, if you don't want to, you can as well trust the folder, but mine is not coming because I've already done that already several times. Now you can see that we have two files that we created with our Notepad++. Yeah, now we can over to that file here and we have this file written in a block of code here. Yes, once you have done that, we can write a lot of items like, oh, we want to have a h1 that says, another h1 that says today's class will be awesome. Today's class will be awesome, right? So click on Ctrl S, you save, right? That was an existing file. So I'll over to my browser. I'll go over to my browser. The file name was index, and I click on this. Now I'm saying today class was awesome. Now we have seen how we can use both our text editor and also our code editor to set up our environment for our Visual Studio. So in today's class, we're going to be using, in this course entirely, we're going to be using Visual Studio as our text editor for the whole of this course. I'm going to be breaking down all the necessary barriers to learn HTML using the code editor. Now in our code editor, we can create a file called here. We can create a new file with this, or we can create a new folder with this, and it's saved in that directory we have. Or we can over to this place and click on Ctrl N. Right, when we hit on Ctrl N, it creates a new file for us. We can save this file with Ctrl S. When we click Ctrl S, it goes over to our web application with HTML. We can save this file with today. I'm just using today today.html, right, with the extension, and we'll click on save. You can see it's coming out with that extension that today is saved, right? So you can use this method to create a new file, or we can use this method here to create a new file, which is I'm just going to say fabulous.html. I'll hit on enter. So I'm having a new file called fabulous.html, right? So in this file, I go over to my system, my directory rather. I'm seeing those file that I created in in my Visual Studio as my workspace, right? So that was nice. So we're going to be working with a little bit of how to structure this in our website. Now I'm going to be using the index file. Now in the index file, HTML comprises of tags and elements, right? Now there's a way we can now moreover all this by saying that we can start with our HTML itself or our doc type. All right, our doc type, let's say doc. I have this, right? So I don't want to be, I want just to write the whole of this in normal sense. Let's say we have a header comprised of title, yeah. So inside my title I can have new class, right? So I'll go outside from my title and type in my body. So body tags. So my body tags element is here, right? So whatever content we write inside my body, this is where we write. This is where we write our content, right? This is where we write our content. Now in this, it's literally not complete, so we need to wrap all this with an HTML. Let's say since it works this, I can say go to the top and write HTML, right? So I'm having HTML this way. I can wrap the whole of this with an HTML. Now it's complete, right? So we can have this in back step and up. Okay, we can wrap this way, so it's complete this way. So when we load this page called title.html, remember in our previous work we were seeing index.html, but now the title will be showing new class, right? So we can see how we have new class here. Now with all of this, we can over this with an iPhone, like say, oh, we have a doc type this way to get our structure of a website, and we can put our title here as today's class, right? Today's class with HTML, right? Today's class HTML, and this is our content, which is, you can say H1. We hope to build a responsive website, right? We hope to build a responsive website. Yeah, so that's how it comes out, right? So we can also maneuver this and says, oh, we want to have an HTML iPhone 5 to get this, right? So you're getting the same output. Yeah, we can write the same items that we want. You can see today is new. We want to have new in our title. Whatever I want to do in our title, or whatever I want to do in our title, we're going to be titling that new page. Now when I refresh this, I'm seeing new here. Yeah, so the same thing happens. We write the content. We want to work with paragraph tags and all that. You get. So that's what we're going to work on. In the previous class, we talked about how we can use Notepad++ and Visual Studio to set up our environment. I believe everybody should be able to do that. In this class entirely, we need to be talking about the HTML and how we're going to use the structure to build a responsive website. I said in our previous class, we're going to be using HTML, which is text decode editor, to build a responsive website. Now I'm going to be using the index file, which is comprised of everything. Now in today's class, I want to talk about headers. Let's say I'm going to title this headers. I want to work with header tags. So I can say header tags. In HTML comprises of headers, tags, and elements. Those are the things that make up a responsive website. Now for an example, I want to have header, right? Header, H1 simply means is the most highest of all. Let's say we have welcome to my website. right? Welcome to my website, and I refresh this, right? I'm going to be seeing that is bold, right? Let's quickly look at H2, and I write a bunch of code like orange, and I refresh. It comes out below, but not the same font, right? So when I go to H3, all right, this is Apple, all right. It goes up, the font, it becomes smaller. When I hover to this and I say this is let's give it cherry. My favorite food, I have cherry, right? And I hover this, it becomes smaller. The font is different from the other ones, right? So we have H1 to H6. Let's say we have banana, right? I'm having banana, and we have mangoes. That's H6. H6, right? And we have mangoes, right? So when I over to this and I refresh, I'm seeing mangoes. You can see the fonts are different. So we can use H1 comprised of what? From the H1 to H6 that tells the browser what to display according to its font, right? Okay, now if we have done this, and we can see how we can write an items. Now I want to talk about comment. Comment simply means comment is a documentation of a block of code. What I mean by comment is that if I want to do an items in my web page and I want to use a comment, comment tells us like, oh, like if another person is coming to read your work, is going to see that, oh, you are about to do a particular content. For an example, I use comments such as this. We have exclamation mark, then we have minus minus, yeah. So whatever we write inside here, inside this content, like it will tell the browser that please treat this thing as a comment. So it's not going to be displaying our web page, right? But we can still wrap the whole of this in our comment, right? We want to wrap the whole of H1. I don't want H1 to be displaying again, so I can wrap the whole of this, and I refresh, everything is out, right? Now I want to work on headers. Let's say I want to work with header tags, right? I can simply say that we just worked with headers tags, right, from H1 to H6, right? So this simply tells the someone else that is coming to read your work that, oh, you just finished working with an header tag, right? Yeah, do you get? But this content won't display, right? Okay, now I believe you understood how we can use the header tags to build an items, right? Now we can also wrap the whole of this in a headers. Let's say we have something like header itself. Header, I want to work with header tags. This is just a tag that says, oh, I want to work with H1 tags, and the H1 tags I want to be having let's say I want to be having welcome to our website, right? I'm having this. Do you understand? If you don't understand, you are good to go. Now we can wrap this to be in our center of our page. I can say, oh, this particular content, I want it to be at the center of our page. Now I can take this in here and say, oh, I want this content to be in the center of our page. Now I'm having a nice work, it is at my center of my page. Do you understand? I guess you do understand. Now this is how we can moreover our items. So we have seen that, oh, our title goes up to header tags, right? And we have header when they are working with header tags. Now we can capitalize this to be in our header tags, and we just finished working with our header tags. Now we can over this to like, oh, let's say you want to work with elements and tags. I can say element and tags, right? So element and tags tells what is happening to the browser. An element and tag can comprise of what? A single tags, like yes, H1 tags, break tags and all that, the image tags, which are single tags. For an example, I have a p tags. Let's say I want to work with paragraph tags. I can simply say this is for paragraph tags, right? So paragraph tag comprises of p tags. We can use p tags to have a paragraph tag. Let's write a paragraph tag, like for instance, I want to have a Lorem text, a dummy text. So when I over this, I'm going to be seeing a bucket of text on my screen, but it's just like a dummy text. I can't read, right? But in this case, let's have something we can read in our block of code, right? I can say we just achieve oh no, spelling this. I can say my name is Daniel, and I will be your instructor for this course. I'll be your instructor for this course. Alright, so I'm going to over this. I'm having a bucket of text, right? My name is Daniel and I'll be your instructor for this course, right? Okay. Now, if this is my dummy text, you can see that let's say we have this is the content on my web page and it starts from the end, right? Now, if I want to break this text, like, oh, I want to break this text, there's something called a single line text. For an example, I want to have a bit text here. If I have a multiple bit text, it breaks this line. Let's say we break this line, you can see it jumps to the next line, jumps to the next line. The same way we can use this break tags to break a tag here. For an example, if I use an enter key, it's still going to show me what I had over there, right? For an instance, it doesn't change, right? But whenever I put this my b tags, which is my break tag, br tags. Now, if you notice, this content has broken the line, right? Now, I do the same for the rest of the code. I can say this is b tag. I want to break a particular line, go to the next line, and go to the next line. So we use a break tag in respect to this, right? And see our content the way it is. Nice. Now, if this is it, we can use this to break a single line text. So break tag is used to, if I don't want a continuation of a previous work and the way it's being displayed on my web page, I can use a break tag to break a line. Now let's quickly use a preview, right? Preview simply means I want to write a poem. Let's say twinkle, 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 little star, twinkle, twinkle, little star, up above the world is so high, now like a diamond in the sky, right? Okay, now like a diamond in the sky, you can see the way I wrote this thing now is going to be appearing the way it is without a break tag. So whichever one you want to use to get a simple items in our web page, so you can use this to wrap this in our web page. Now for example, I want to go more details, like in a break tag I can make the whole of this content in my p tag. I want it to be want to make an emphasis to this content. Let's say the whole of this content, I want it to be italic, right? Let's say the whole of this content, I want it to be italic. I'll use the I text and I wrapped everything inside this content. Now, if you notice, everything becomes italic, right? Yeah, if it becomes italic, I can say, oh, this content has become italic, right? Now, for these two as well, I can make an emphasis to the all of this text. You can see the way it was written. Yes, it's just the same thing. Let's say we want to make an EM text. emphasis text to this, and when I refresh it, it looks in so nice, right? So the same way we create our content, that's how we want our item to display. Even though we're going to be giving a bulky space here, like a paragraph tag and the rest, right? It shows you the way you kept your work, right? Okay. Now if I want this thing to be at the beginning of this course, I can take it there. It shows me what I want, right? Nice. So that's what we're going to be having, right? Okay, that's nice. Now we can make an emphasis like, oh, a stress word, this name Daniel, I want this name to be stressed. Let's say we have a mark. A mark simply tell us that I want to mark this content. Let's see, mark is not coming out as tag, so I'm going to be creating that tag myself. I say I want to make an emphasis to mark this way, then I paste Daniel. Right, you're going to be coming out as a color. I'm having a color for Daniel. Daniel is being highlighted as Mike, right? So that's how we work on mark tags, right? We can also navigate more of this content, like we want to have a span, we want to have the tags and strong and the rest. For example, I want an item to be bold in my web page. Let's say we have a p tag. We want to have a p tag, and I want it to be, oh, my name is whatever. I can have a bold text, and my name is Daniel. When I load this, I'm going to be seeing my name is Daniel and it's bold, right? If I load another one, says, hey, p tags, I want my favorite color is my favorite color is orange. Let's say you have orange, right? But you know that I can't have a p tag and a nested. I want to do something called I want it to be bold, right? If it's bold, and I also want it to be underlined, right? I can make it this way. Let's say orange, right? Okay, you can see I'm having that bold and also underline, right? Yeah, I can also make an item to be, oh, I want to have something to be in a p tag. Let's say I want to have my favorite meal to be fried rice or chicken. Let's say my favorite meal is beans. Please don't judge me. Don't judge me that I'm eating beans. Fried meal to be beans with eggs, right? So I'm going to be writing this. I wrote my favorite. My favorite meal is beans with egg, right? So I'm having this, right? But I want to make this thing to be let's say I want to make it to be italic, to be faint, to get the same way we have it. We can wrap this says, oh, meal beans with egg. I can have this to be in a I want to make it to be mark, right? Let's say we have this to be mark, and I have this tag. Yeah, so we have mark. Okay, then I go over to and paste this items. Think, yeah, so it's being marked this way, right? So I believe you have understood how to use the p tags, the element, and all that, and etc. Now, to get an image, when we're talking about image tag, let's say I want to work with image tag, image element. Now, for an image tag, we use the mg tag this way. Now, this source simply tell us where our image is coming from, right? And this tells an alternative in case of this image is not available. we can make use of alternative. Let me just put this as image. Now when I load up this page now, I'm going to be seeing that image appears, right? Image appears, but the image is not available. Now we can specify the kind of width that we want for this image by saying I want it to be 260px, 260px, and having the height of 120, let's say height of 200px. Right, so when I load this, still the image is not coming out because there's no image. That's why the size is not coming out. To get an image in this my directories, there must be an image in my directories here. Let's say I over to my folder, then I go to my image. I'm going to be dragging one bucket of okay, I like food. Yeah, I'm going to drag this food over to this place, right? Do I want to add to my workspace? Yeah, I can say copy folder. Let's copy this folder to this place, right? So I'm copying this folder to inside this workspace called L. Now you can see that we have a lot of food, right? So in this place now, I want to specify this my folder. I can say, oh, go to my folder foodie, then I want to pick this. This should be yummy. Let's say we have this food here, and I go to my view page and I refresh. I'm seeing, wow, this is akara and beans and all that, right? You can see I'm having my favorite meal. So we can make this thing to be 100%, which fills the screen. Let's say 100%, right? When I say 100%, it's, let's say automatically it's hold on, let me refresh. You can see it's enlarged this page to be bold, right? Yeah, so it's not, sometimes not good, advisable you use percentage for your you can use like 400 pixel, right? So it becomes more bolder, the width, and it's enjoyable. It's not good you use 100% for and probably an items that you want to stretch, right? Okay, now if that's that for that, we can bring as many images as possible in our work. We can say, oh, let's have another one image. We want to have it to be foodie. I think I like 14. Now we have 14, and this is rice. I don't know what is it, but let's see what's happening. Okay, the image is not showing up because of this slash, right? So I'm going to take off this slash, and yeah, you can see the image. Wow, this chicken. Okay, so we don't always have to put the slash for image to show, right?
fellow